Hello and welcome to Minor Players Medal of Honor Allied Assault Spearhead. This is the tug of war map Berlin, and as you can see it is reminiscent of the actual mission of Berlin. So I'll show you more about the similarities later, but this is tug of war and you have a series of objectives that you either need to complete or make sure aren't completed, depending on what team you are, depending on what the objective is. So if I show you around the map a little bit, so this is where the allies spawn, and it's mainly this building here, but then you can either cross over the bridge on this side. You can go under the bridge, I'll show you that in a moment. You can then also spawn in these buildings, so there's certainly a lot of, I mean this is very similar actually to one of the end, yeah, this is very similar to one of the end buildings in the mission. So thought I got myself stuck there. So this is part of the way of getting into the under the bridge. So I mean I'm here now, I might as well show you. So I can't even remember playing this one. I think this is definitely a very I actually think this one wasn't too well put together. I think it had its own interesting little segments, but I don't think it was that well put together. Also, oh, it comes out here. Okay. Okay. So I thought it was going to come through there, but I'll show you that later. Maybe not. When I looked at this map, I couldn't. I mean, they've really messed that up. If I can walk here and I can see that's. Is it me, or is this map so far with? I've hardly shown you anything, and it already doesn't look like it was that well put together. Was this a rushed map at the end or something? So I actually thought that you could run along there and work your way across there, because I would have thought that could have been quite a good way of doing it, but I guess you can't. So the only ways across are, because they don't usually have two ways from one side to the other, it's usually three or more. So you have that going all the way into that building, you have the going under the bridge, which I'll show you now, and then you have going over the bridge. But I believe you've got to have the going under the bridge part, because well, I'm confused now. There's an explosive there, so in theory, you should be able to do it, but there's no objectives to say destroy the bridge or protect the bridge. But I'd imagine it's part of the axes to destroy the bridge. I think that was kind of their main thing that they were trying to do in the mission. So the other ones are, the allies need to protect the ammo dump, which is in that building there. It's kind of about there-ish. They need to call in air support, which I think, from what I remember, is in this building here, but do forgive me if I'm wrong. Actually, it sounds like it's going to be in that building, you know, the one with the massive antenna on top. But I think this really shows that despite the amount of hours that I put into, yeah, probably this one, the amount of hours that I've put into playing this game, this is very much a map that wasn't really that used, and they could have done a bit more with it. Like, this is a huge open area, and I think it's just not really that fun. Like, people want a bit of protection when they're running around. So you got to control or destroy this. Control this flak. Can't destroy any of these buildings, I believe. Yeah. And then an area that you have to control would be the radar dish area. But I think this is kind of the central area. You got this here, and there's no secret back way in here, is there? I wonder if there's like an underground path that you can walk in. But nope, I guess not. And so if we go towards the axes area, I'll show you a bit of that. So the other thing that we need to do is the allies need to designate the axes. ammo depot, which, so I think it's kind of like 3 objectives in the middle part here, and then 1 objective at either end. So to be able to destroy the other team's ammo dump is going to be pretty tricky. So yeah, here we are, the back way through. I'll just jump down here. So this is where the Axes spawn, but there's quite a... Oh, we've got anti-aircraft. AA gun. So the Axes come all the way up here. So one... And then you have this. Oh, right, okay. Do forgive me, I think I now understand. I think once you've got all 5 objectives, then you might have to destroy one last little thing. I'm not sure. I really can't remember. So yeah, this is where the Axes spawn. It's elements of the actual mission. Like when you come through here, there's a sniper up there, and that is kind of a bit. You can get into a building that's blown up there, and a tank comes through. So yeah, it's definitely based on the mission. So yes, this is very open. You do have your buildings that you can hide in, that you can sneak your way through. You can get down here. Where does this one come out of? Oh, okay, yeah. Interesting. Those benches they needed work. So, oh, right, so it comes up. Okay, so it's just a quick way for the Axes to get from one place to the other, but with the way that mounted machine gun is positioned, then this comes out here. Right, okay. I knew there was another way, because I thought it would be a bit odd that, as I said before, there's 3 ways to get from the Allied spawn area to where I am now. Same way for this, you have that building that you can run through, you have the big open gap, and then you have this way that I've just come through here. So you could almost say that yes, this map is very open and it takes a while to get from one to the other, but if you have a good number of people, this map could be alright. Now part of that, I think, is when you have most maps, they tend to have it where you have the ally spawn area, the Axis spawn area, and a middle section. And you're all kind of fighting over the middle section. There's no one's really making any headway. You could take control of it and fight into the other team's section, but you don't then really progress any further because you can't push them back any further. So you've really only got one way of pushing them back. So by having one large open area here, and then kind of got another large open area here, you then have the 2 team spawn points either side. So I think that works well, because you could, I think it, generally speaking, you'll have it where the allies can control up to like here-ish. You know, they could be trying to fight in that tunnel, there could be a couple of people in that building trying to stop others coming through, and you could have 1 or 2 snipers guarding the path here. The same from the Axis point of view, you have a couple of snipers here, a couple of people trying to fight through there, a couple of people trying to get through this tunnel system here. So, as I said, I don't really remember playing this one that much. I think it was kind of just put in as a rotation, but people might have voted to go on to the next map, or people just didn't really play it, so they kept taking that map out. So you can see the similarities that it had to the mission. So this was fairly similar in terms of an allies spawn area, and they'd taken a few things out but kept most of it there. And then over here is where you had a big bridge. It's not this one here, I think it was probably up where I am now. And then further into the mission you had this big building here. You had these raised bits on the side, certainly this side, can't remember about that side, but certainly this side. And you had, right in front of it, you had this section all the way leading through here. I think that was back a bit further. And you could get all the way through to here. This is fairly similar. This building was the same. You could still get in there. And I'm thinking the majority of it was the same. But this building... Oh, it's just a window. This building wasn't there, and you could get in further back behind there. So the majority of the map is actually fairly similar. All they've mainly done, apart from a few small changes, is they've shortened the axes area. Right, instead of being able to get all the way around to the front of the Chancery building, they put that building there. And the other part to it, the other reason it's different, is this is kind of squished up. So you run over the bridge, and you couldn't really run to the right anymore. You had to run up here, run all the way over here, blah blah blah, to get to where you needed to be, which is this section here. So is this map good? I think it can be good, but I like the fact that you have the 2 spawn areas and then the 2 main areas that you can fight over a little bit more. But I think it was just too big, and to get from one area to the other was just a bit too much. You can imagine if you're the Allies, you get all the way through to here, you're trying to destroy the Axis ammo dump, which I'm not actually sure where it is. I'm assuming it's in here. And once you kind of get to here, 2 or 3 if you die fairly simply, the rest of you have to fall back or you end up dying, and then the Allies spawn all the way back, all the way over here. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you in the next part.